I want to start with some examples of perfectionism among entrepreneurs or just people who are self-employed, freelancing, saying yes too often, so adding more and more things onto your plate, more and more obligations and responsibilities, overworking, the amount of time, the number of hours that you work could be a lot more than usual. And for a lot of entrepreneurs, it's a lot more than you would in a regular full-time job, 8 hours a day. There are people working 10 or 12 hours a day at different hours of the early morning, late evening. So we're also seeing kind of unbalanced schedules as well, can be a sign of that. Struggling to take breaks. This could be breaks during the day, meaning stopping for meal times, and can also be breaks in terms of vacations. So because you're an entrepreneur, your time becomes very flexible, which overall is a good thing. We want that to work for us when we're working on our businesses. But that also means that the definition between work time and rest time becomes very blurry. You kind of have to learn how to manage it yourself. You don't have like a defined schedule anymore like you would in a company or in a workplace. We have a couple emotional aspects, low self-worth, so not feeling good about yourself even while you're working on these projects and your business, and seeking acceptance from others, seeking validation. And so there are these different ways that we try to get confirmation or reinforcement for all of the effort that we're putting in. And overall, I think we all understand that perfectionism has to do with putting in very, very high amounts of effort, whether that's time or thinking or money as well. Entrepreneurship takes a lot of money, the financial investment as well. And we'll see that how even before you have become an entrepreneur and started your own business, these traits and patterns have already been developing and kind of percolating through your life in multiple areas. So now we have some ideas for all of you to consider in terms of, what you can do to start working on things. And we will start with kind of internal changes. If you work on examining your belief system about work and perfectionism, what it means to be good enough and what it means to be even a good person morally, you may find that a lot of these are coming from experiences in the past, things that your parents or teachers or bosses have told you. And now that the COVID pandemic has passed, this is an opportunity for you to start over again, where maybe you have left the old environments or relationships that could kind of control you in this way. And so it's important to put these beliefs and feelings in its appropriate place in the past. You can be a different version of yourself, and also those people from the past who would say those things to you would not even know. They may not be in your environment or in your life anymore. So you can find other people who you can kind of start over with in what you present about yourself. And I think guilt and shame would be one of the biggest emotions there. Guilt about leaving something behind because you were very invested in it, a certain job, a certain relationship, somewhere that you lived in. But the opposite of that would be, I think, learning how to care about yourself, putting yourself not necessarily first all the time, but just more important than you would usually, prioritizing yourself more. And that becomes a way of taking responsibility for your life. I think you are responsible for making sure that you're okay, rather than saying that I need to keep trying. That's kind of more externally oriented. Like I need to be good enough for others. I need to deliver results for others as well. So yeah, family of origin is a big one. You may have family members or parents or whoever who are still actively trying to convey these ideas to you. And so you can start to build some boundaries with that and try to consider whether it's okay to just disagree with the people in your life, even if they are your loved ones, because at the end of the day, you are an individual. Your career belongs to yourself. If you're an entrepreneur, your business belongs to yourself as well. And so whatever other people say cannot or should not have an impact on the decisions that you make. Otherwise, that just means that other people can direct kind of what you're doing and where you decide to invest your time and effort. Okay, next we have some things that you can try to work on in your external environment, just kind of in your life. So setting goals that make sense for you, this goes back to what I was saying earlier about differentiating and setting boundaries. When you set goals, you want to make sure that they actually make sense for your situation and what you need, and not just kind of how it might impact others, as long as you're not actively hurting anyone, of course. If it's not what someone else wanted or not what is convenient for someone else, that should not be a reason for you to be adjusting your choices. In a work setting, this can look like the shifts that you take when you go on vacation, and people will try to guilt you into not making those choices because it's not convenient for them. But if it is technically within your right to go on vacation, to use your vacation time, or to not work as many hours based on what is set up, you need to practice exercising those options or exercising those rights, so to speak. And to remember, that you are the one who's the most impacted by your decisions. Our decisions do impact others, of course, because we are social creatures and we live in a society with multiple people. But at the end of the day, you have to remember the biggest impact is on yourself. When you come home each day, when you're away from your patients and your colleagues or your boss or whoever, you have to sit with those feelings of like, what did I do today? How did I spend my time, and how am I feeling about it? And process all of that. And so if you want to have a better time with that, then you need to practice first making those choices where when you come home each day, you can feel better about it, rather than wondering like, was it enough? How did this other person feel? So these are all examples of boundaries as well. Changing your behavior and your environment can help a lot. During the COVID pandemic, a lot of people moved, like physically moved to a different city or a country and found a different job and all of that, and can be very helpful. Work from home has been one of the biggest changes, I think, for people in terms of their work environment. It may not be for everyone, but now we know that that option is there. We can't take that back anymore. So from now on, you can consider these multiple options in the healthcare world. And freelance medical writing is definitely one of those where you can really build and achieve a lot of freedom for yourself in your schedule and how you spend your routine. And that includes self-care. When you're at home, working from home, or not having a rigid work schedule means that you have actual physical free time to do things that are healthy for yourself, adjusting your meal times and time for physical activity or social time with others, spending time with people who are not work related. These are all ways of taking care of ourselves and feeling kind of more fulfilled that there's more than one area of my life that is going well, where there's like stuff happening. And here, what we mean by reparenting yourself, this is a concept from therapy, that one of the things you can do to change your perspective is to treat yourself like you are a parent of yourself. And like, think about what a healthy parent would do for you, whether it's your actual parents, if they were healthy, or any other kind of supportive figure in your life, what they would do, and consider your needs in that way. A big part of perfectionism is kind of denying our needs and saying that they don't matter, that other people's needs matter. And so you're kind of redirecting yourself to focus on what your needs are and to acknowledge them, and to say that, yes, this does matter and it's okay to want things to be better for myself. And you're learning how to direct that drive for effort and high achieving towards something in your own life, not just work or something that impacts others.